On today's show, we have Jorge Villalobos, the founder of The Best Restoration, Gainesville turnover specialist, and area rug masters. You guys, Jorge has been working in the restoration and cleaning industry for the last 20 years, but 15 years ago, he realized the potential that Gainesville had for his business with the presence of the university and thousands of students doing disasters in their apartments and their houses. And on today's episode, we got into the importance of details in business, persistency and consistency, preparing your mindset for business when there are a lot of external factors weighing on you, the biggest natural and man-made disasters that Jorge's had to deal with, and creating boundaries and being there for your customers. Enjoy the show. You are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV Podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go,
whoa.
Whoa. I am your host, Collin Austin, and to my left is the one, the only, Michael Dees.
What's going on?
What's up, buddy?
So this releases on September 28th?
September 28th.
So today's Monday, which means we just got done beating Ole Miss.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I mean,
predicting. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, Lane Kiffin, when he coached Tennessee, that was, he tried to make it a rivalry. Remember, he said, like, we're going to be laughing all the way down Rocket Top when we beat the Gators. Yeah. So this is Lane Kiffin's back at Ole Miss now, so it'll be interesting.
So is that game home or away? See, I don't even know.
It's in Oxford.
Okay.
At noon.
Okay.
Yeah, noon Eastern, I believe. Yeah. So we just beat them. Hopefully.
Oh, well,
have you watched any of the football so far?
I have not watched anything, but I heard, I love seeing everybody kind of troll Florida State after they lost to Georgia Tech and all that sort of stuff. That's the only thing I saw.
Everyone has their opinions on the masks and everything. We won't go too far into that, but FSU got absolutely roasted for their fans not wearing masks at the game.
Were they like spread out and stuff?
No, not even a little bit. And I'll say this, like I never want to be accused of defending Florida State, but like somebody has to go first, and I'm not so sure. Now, Gainesville, I hope you prove me wrong. I'm not so sure that if we went first that we would have been like the best model of people wearing masks. So I don't know, but they got.
So is this your plea? Is this
yes,
like your
please.
Plea
just think about the TVs that are on us. Like make Gainesville proud. Be an example.
Well, because we're number 6 now, baby.
Right, we're number 5 now.
Number 5? No. I'm not talking about like.
Oh, you mean
you're talking about sports ranking?
Oh yeah,
we're
talking
top
about
10 everything. I'm talking we just heard today or yesterday.
That came out today already.
Yeah, which is because for everybody who's listening, we're recording on September 14th. So, but the University of Florida, baby, we're number 6 now.
Seems like every year we record this, we get one better.
Yeah, that's right. It probably has a lot to do with us.
So in 2026, we're the number 1 public university in the country.
There you go. Yeah. Well, we'll soon find out, right? Well, you guys, before we get into the show, I just want to remind everybody that we did a really cool collaboration with Caroline Sinitsky, where she and we basically made these shirts. Like she designed them, right? These Gainesville, Florida T-shirts. She did the design, and of course, like we worked it out where we paid for it. The T-shop helped out. We had the T-shop, a local Gainesville business who helped us make them. I mean, it was awesome. But half the proceeds go to Caroline, half the proceeds go to supporting and funding this podcast. So you guys can get these shirts at WHOAGNV.com and click the word shop, and it takes you to our shop. You can get these shirts too. Yeah. We got this podcast
also
shirt,
done by
that
the
podcast.
T-shop.
Yeah. Also, yep, absolutely. So anyway, be sure to get your shirt. We only printed 150 of these, limited edition. They will not last. They will sell out, and we're not going to reprint them when they do. So, but we might do it'd be cool to do like a design every once in a while, like a fresh design. But anyway, that's our love for Gainesville, Florida right there, baby. So get your shirts.
Buy them up.
And you guys, I'm so excited about this show.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about the energy today.
You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. It's funny because we did these coronavirus sessions, right? And when all that stuff was going down, we were like talking to so many business owners and business professionals, little half-hour sessions. We tried our best to keep them to a half hour. So hard. We really get into this, right? But man, one just like really stood out to me. And I was like, man, like I really want to get this guy back in the studio because I really want to dive deeper into the story. Sure, we can talk about coronavirus and all that kind of stuff in a coronavirus session, but I want to hear his story. And so today on the show, we have Jorge Villalobos. How do you say your last name?
Villalobos. You can say Villalobos, and I'm gonna know that. Villalobos.
But do you do the Villa?
No.
Or is Villalobos?
Villalobos.
Native from Colombia
That's
and
great.
second born to Gainesville, Florida. He is the founder, owner, and leader of the Best Restoration, Gainesville Turnover Specialist, and Area Rug Masters. To me, he's Jorge. Like, I always call him Jorge. He's my man, Jorge. So, Jorge, welcome to the show, man.
Excited to be here again. I get really nervous, especially when I see Mike, but now I get a little bit more relaxed.
It's that pressure that Mike brings. I don't know what it is.
So intimidating.
Possible his glasses. I don't know, but
right. I gotta change it up, right?
So, Jorge, man, we really like to just dive into the story. We didn't get the chance to do that last time, so really take us back. I want to hear all of it, man. What got you to Gainesville? Why you're doing what you're doing, and then we'll dive into all sorts of business stuff. I know.
Okay, that's crazy. Where do you want me to start? Because the story is long, and I think I only have like an hour here. But I'm originally from Colombia, and I left my country in 1999 for security issues. I used to work with my government. We have seriously threats for our lives, and we have to move to United States in March of 1999. Our daughter, that today is 27, she was 5 years old, and our son, that is 21, he has only 5 years old. Then we moved to Fort Lauderdale area. We didn't know anybody. The first thing is that we're going to try to learn English. My wife, at this time, she was a physician, then a lot of her school was in English, but for me it was kind of tough because my English was extremely poor. Then I started to go to a small university to learn English, but at the same time I get my first job in the state that was to be a driver. I used to drive people to the airports and to drive people to the medical centers. I have even a customer that I have to pick it up every Saturday, 7 o'clock to take it to dance, and I pick him up at 11:30 to bring it back. Then was a nice job because I learned a lot of English. I start to learn a lot of the culture. I talk a lot with my customers. My boss was really excited because the customers start to say, hey, send me the guy who doesn't speak any English because I want to teach him. Then it was really cool for me. Then one day, somebody invited me to work in the carpet cleaning business. I didn't know even that the people clean carpets. I never see nobody cleaning carpets. Then I went to this interview, and I was working for a bait and switch carpet cleaning company. They hired me in the marketing department doing all the customer service, and they hired me because I didn't speak English. Then when the customers called really upset to complain about it, I didn't understand what they say, and they didn't understand what I said either. That means that was a crazy thing. I was there for 2 years. The company went out of business, obviously, because they didn't know how to run a business. And then I moved to another restoration company. I was there for 2 years, but I was on the field. Then I started to clean carpets. I started to do carpet repairs and remove red stains, do a small water damage. And I learned a lot, but Fort Lauderdale wasn't the place for us. Our daughter was ready to go to the middle school, and I hear terrible things about the middle school in this area. I used to live in Sunrise, Broward County, and the area was really bad. And also, I was looking for my wife, being a physician, at least that she can come back to their field. Our commitment was like at least one of both can do whatever we were doing. I was a banker. I decided I don't want to come back there, but we want to go to a place that she can start to be close to her career. And we moved to Gainesville. Again, I found a small sign in the Gainesville Sun that say, I'm looking for a carpet cleaning guy. Then I called this person, and I meet him in a donut place that is right there in 51st and 39. I sit with him, and he hired me this day. I only have one truck, one machine, and a lot of dreams. Then I moved with my family, and my wife went to, I'm going to tell you this because it was funny.
Well, real quick, what year was that?
That was in 2004.
Okay.
Then I came this day. I drove to the donut place. The guy told me, I hire you. Then I drove to Hidden Oak. I put my son in the school. I went to Fort Clark. I put my daughter in the school. I went across the street, Legacy Apartments. I get an apartment. And I went to the other side of Legacy Apartments, that is a care center, and I found a job for my wife. This took me 6 hours. Then I came back to Fort Lauderdale. I tell to my wife, I have a job, you have a job, the kids are in the school, and I think everything is going to be okay. And we left Fort Lauderdale. Was tough, but we moved. Our kids, they say, now we have to start again in the school, and that's going to be tough.
Was it like overnight? Like, how quick was that move?
We did it like in 3 weeks. Took us like 3 weeks. And, I started to go, I went to my first job, and I started to clean carpets, but I never, and believe me, I do a lot of investigation. I do research. I never expect that I'm going to have this size of city with all these students' apartments, that they're going to give me all the work that we have right now. I never expect that. If I'm going to blame somebody for this, I'm going to say, God put me here, nobody else. Because I just want to look for my wife to come back to the school. I never expect that this is going to happen. But in 2004, I came here, and the new kids on the block, I always remember that the second day that I was here, I went to Best Buy, and I saw a guy with a shirt with a carpet cleaning logo. And I came to him really friendly, and I told him, hey, how you doing? My name is Jorge, and I just moved here, and I'm a carpet cleaner. And the guy told me, if I was you, I'm going to take my truck, and I'm going to come back to Fort Lauderdale. We have more than 35 carpet cleaning companies here. We don't need one more. Wow, that's what.
This was just some random person?
Yes, random
Welcome
person.
to Gainesville.
Welcome to Gainesville. I'm going to tell you the funny story is that 18 years after, possible 15 years after this conversation, I was doing a conference talking about setting goals by Zig Ziglar. And I was doing a big class, and I finished my class. Everything was nice. And I say this story about don't let other people to tell you that you can't. You hear it all the time, and you are like, oh, I don't want to do it. Somebody told me that it's a bad idea. Hey, you know what? If you have it in your mind and you have it in your heart, go ahead and do it. Then I was telling this, and then a guy came to me, and he said, I just want to congratulate you for your success. And I say, why you tell me that? Because the guy who told you this in Best Buy 15 years ago is my father, and he's not a nice guy. Look how life it is.
Dang.
Boom. Then, I came here 2004. They start to give me, I used to clean one carpet here, one carpet there, one carpet in the other side. No, I went to the first place, and they gave me 20 keys. And they told me, good luck. I'm pretty sure that you're going to do it. I was like, I have to clean all these today? Oh, yeah. Then, I start to clean carpets like crazy. That was amazing. And, I didn't know what was helper because I didn't know anybody. Then I was by myself all the time. But you know what? I learned a lot of things. I passed the first turn. I was working for the same guy. And then what happened? Katrina hit in New Orleans area. Then, before that, I worked in Cocoa Beach for a possible 6 months. I went to Katrina. I went to Beaumont, Texas. I did a lot of work out of town. But at the same time, my wife was doing the university, and my kids, my daughter at this time was kind of 11. She was taking care of my son and cooking for my son and a lot of things. And then I say, I don't want to leave town anymore. I want to be here. I talked with my boss at this time. I told him, hey, look, you was the person who introduced me with these apartments. You want to continue doing this? He said, no, I only want to do water damage. I did a lot of money. I don't need them.
Okay.
And then I start to knock doors. Hey, how you doing? I'm George. I'm only one guy. You can give me work? And the people tell me, we have a carpet cleaning already. I went to the second, the third. Then people start to give me work, and then was when alcohol start to help me. And it's because I start to drink.
I'm like,
It's because every place that I went and I knocked the door and I tell them, look, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. They told me, I have my guy here that is working here for 10 years and I don't need you. And I say, please keep my business card. You never know. One day this guy don't show up and you're going to need help. And what happened? A week after, I get this call at 1 a.m. in the morning. I answer the phone and they tell me, hey, can you help me? I had a big water damage. Of course, I'm on my way. And I start to ask the people, hey, what happened with your guy of 10 years and he's really good? He was drunk. 1 week after, another guy, he didn't show up.
was he drunk too?
He was drunk. He was drunk. I start to realize that people used to have fun and used to drink and they didn't take care of their customers. Then I say, boom, I don't drink. This is my place. Then I start to do this and I start to talk with people and I start to realize that I can do a really good job. And people start to just call me more often. And, you know, we went to the first truck, the second truck, and the third truck, and today we have like 25 vehicles, and every busy.
Well, so you were doing this, you know, setting up this part of this business while working for this other guy because he didn't want to do that part?
No, because when he decided that he doesn't want to do this work anymore, I decide to open my own business.
Okay, and what year was that?
2006, January 2006.
So it was a couple years after.
Yes. And, 15 years after, I'm here. By the way, I always say that, I always want to be somebody who can work with another person and helping to build things. I never expect to have my own business. But when I decide to be here and I start to knock doors, I found this restoration company in town that they told me, if you want to work for me, you have to go to open your business because you can be a subcontractor, but I don't going to hire you directly. I was like, I don't know. I used to, I'm the new guy here. I don't know if I want to open a business. Open a business is serious. This is a big topic. But this guy told me, if you open your business, I'm going to give you work tomorrow. Then took me 25 minutes to create the name of my business, create the mission of my business, create of all these things, and go to the accounting, and she opened the business for me. I came back the next day, and I start to work. Funny thing is that I worked with this restoration business for 2 years. My work was there. Possible 85% of my income depend of this restoration company. And one day they call me and they say, George, I'm sorry, but we're not gonna give you more work. And I start to ask them what happened. I did something wrong. I overcharged somebody. One of your customers complained. He said, I don't have any complaint about you, but you are growing too much and I'm really nervous. I don't want to mention this company, but this company is not even around the area anymore. Because, you are expecting that somebody going to do this is because you already did it to somebody else. I'm not this kind of person, and I'm so excited that I follow their advices, but at the end, I build my own thing, and I'm happy to have it,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me... Your story makes me think of Mickey Zinger's book, which is like the surrender experiment, which is just like very much like giving it to the universe and letting the pieces fall into place. Because I mean, it sounds like, hey, like if you open a business, you're gonna have work tomorrow, and so you like pull the trigger based on that. I mean. And even coming to Gainesville, you're telling the wife, like, you got a job, kids are in school. You know what I mean? I'm like thinking to myself, like, you, to me, it just have this ability to like really adapt well to whatever's happening right in front of you. I mean, is that a trait that you've just always had throughout your entire life? Or do you think that come from some sort of training, or like where does that come from? And am I even describing that correctly?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's just a perception, but...
I'm going to tell you is, since I was young, I was really leading a lot of process all the time. I built my soccer team. I built my group of friends. Everything was around, hey, come on, we're going to do this together. And, when I left my country, most of my friends, they were saying, and what are we going to do now? You're not here anymore. Who's going to put the parties? Who's going to do the trips? Who's going to do everything? I say, yeah, but, I'm leaving and you're going to be here. No, this is hard. I'm going to tell you when I noticed that was funny is that I used to work in the banking industry, like I told you. And one day I have a really great opportunity to work for directly for the treasury department in our country. And I went to do my interview, and I did 2 days. 2 days of exam and tests and everything. And, I'm studying finances. Then I was like, I come here to provide my numbers and my knowledge and everything. And they called me a few weeks after and they told me, we're going to hire you. And I say, oh, that's great. And then what are you going to do? Where are you going to be? In the macroeconomic department. What are you going to do? And they told me, you're going to be in the organization and methods department. This is your profile. And I didn't believe. I say, what? I don't know what are you talking about. But now, 30 years after, I do the whole operation in my company, and this is when I realize why this is what is the higher skill that I have, is to have everything so organized, have the memory to remember every single customer, every single thing. I remember you a long time ago that we have a meeting and you say, my goal for the next year is to remember the name and to all my customers. I was like, man, you have to be crazy. This is too much. But I tell you, if one of my guys called me and say, hey, you remember we did this flood 3 weeks ago. And by the way, we do between 5 and 6 water damage every day. That means that for me, it's hard to remember. But you know what? I'm going to tell you, because we have these meetings every single day in my office. I'm going to remember the customer. I want to remember the details. What exactly happened in their house? What was the room that was affected? How much equipment we left there? Who was my technician there? Then what happened is that when somebody called, I have all this information. Then this has more value than anything.
Yeah.
Then this is what I find out right now, and after years of, I didn't care too much in the university about it, but after I start to work, I realized that I can put a lot of things together, and this is what I love to do,
It's good. Mm-hmm. It's funny that you even remember me saying that about the customers. I mean, yeah. That used to be something. It's gotten much more difficult over the years. Obviously, as you get more and more customers. But man, those first couple of years, I remember every single customer and what scooter they bought. I used to really freak some customers out too, man. That's crazy. You can really scare some people of like, oh yeah, I know who you are, and then dropping their name and the scooter that they bought. But
especially that you can imagine how you can impact people with just small details.
Right.
For me, I say to my guys every day, this is not the big picture of everything that we can do in the drying world or in the cleaning world or in. It's the details. It's the small detail that we have with this customer. It's the small detail that we share the information that the customer just talk about really well about the guys who went there to do the job. All these small things is the ones that for me build a business in a better way instead of the big things. I really believe that it's good to have big things and do big things. This is great. But for me, I stayed in the small details. Hey, remember to call this customer to ask him how is his daughter, because when we went there, she was really sick. Small details. We sent a small car for all our customers the next day after we do a service. You can imagine how you impact people. Possible you think, why are you going to do this? It's a waste of time. Why are you going to hire somebody just to do this? But you know what? When I'm in a meeting and people that don't even know, they say, hey, you cleaned my carpets, so you did this job, and I remember this beautiful letter that you send tell me thank you for choose your company to do the job. And I really appreciate it. I'm never going to forget that. Then it's, again, I love and my life is based in small details. This is what I see.
I mean, that stuff, like you said, is so impactful. You don't really realize how impactful it is, like at the time, right? To the team member who's writing the thank you card, it's just like writing a thank you card, right? And then I see the thank you card get, posted on an Instagram story where they tag Innisrael, and I'm like, oh, like that's really cool. Like they really like the appreciation. We always included like a little Polaroid when they of them and their scooter, with the team like inside of the card, and like. Of course, with COVID, we haven't been doing a lot of like group pictures or anything, but we've still been sending out a thank you card. And for one of the things that have been coined by New Scooters for Less is the UCE. We always said the ultimate customer experience, right? That was a part of that. What's interesting to me, your business has continued to grow, right? And what I find is that with most businesses, they fail at scaling that, right? Because you go from writing 100 thank you cards, yes. right, to 500, to 1,000, and they're like, oh, and what happens is everybody's like, oh, like I don't have time for that, like I couldn't keep up, right? And I always say, well, what if you could, right? Like, what if you could create the process to continue to scale those little details, those little thank you notes, you're going to continue to just exponentially grow your business.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think one of the bigger problems that the company has, and one of my mentors, that is Howard Partridge, he wrote a book about it, that is failure to implement. And you have a lot of things in your mind and you start to do it, but you don't have the consistency to do it. And then this is what the people see. Or you start to call the customers, but you only call them for 3 months and you never call them back. Or people who know how many times I hear that people say, oh, I put all this money in advertising for the 6 months, but I never get customers. Then I'm going to shut it down. This is not how marketing works. Then if you are consistent and you say, I'm going to do it for a year and a half or 2 years, if definitely this doesn't work, I have to use a different way to try to capture these customers. But definitely the idea is, and this is I insist too much, is that don't do things just for one time, because people don't gonna appreciate that. Persistency and consistency. Zig Ziglar used to say this phrase all the time: persistency and consistency. And if you have this combination of words and you do it every day, and everything that you do, by the way, I want to tell you something that is a little bit sad, but I lost my dad a month ago.
I'm sorry.
Yesterday was his birthday, 93 years old.
Oh, wow.
My father has Alzheimer's for the last 5 years. My mother, that is 87, had Alzheimer's. She's still alive for 8 or 9 years. I call my parents every night, even if they don't know who I am. But I always talk with my dad. I used to talk with my dad, and my dad, I say, hey, Dad, how you doing? How was your day? And tell me about it. What are you doing? You are watching TV? And I hear like, He doesn't know even who I am, nothing about it. But sometimes he say things like, caramba. He's not talking with me. Possible he's watching TV and something happened. But I hear this caramba, and this caramba gonna be here in my mind for the rest of my life. With my mom, now that my dad passed, was a little bit hard for her, even if she had Alzheimer's. The way that the people with Alzheimer's, they live this situation is completely different. She started to don't talk too much. She has a really nice sense of humor, and she has a lot of energy. I get a lot of these things from my mom. She wasn't saying things like funny for a while, and she wasn't talking too much. But you know what? Yesterday or the day before, I was driving and I was talking with her, and she started to tell me funny things. And I say, possible she's going through the process to feel better. That means that, but if I don't do this every day, and if I don't start to be this like an habit, the day that they're not here, then I'm going to regret a lot for not doing it. And this is not a business. This is your family. But it's exactly the same with your business. If you don't do it regularly and you don't get it like a good habit, the day that something happens, you're going to say, why I didn't do it? Why I forgot to do this? It was so impactful for our customers. Then this is how I see it,
Yeah. So,
I'm really serious today.
no, man,
Something is
it's
happening
good though.
here.
I mean, I'm going to use that as an opportunity to talk about something that I really wanted to ask you about because, you have all that going on, right? We have all these things weighing on us. Like your customers don't know any of that, right? And so we carry that weight with us a lot of the times, and we're coming into the shop or going into work every day. Like how do you like really prepare your mindset for the business day when you have all of that like weighing on you?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something that I do an exercise every single morning that I learned from Bob Houdini. And he wrote a nice book. I'm going to recommend it, the book. The name is Two Chairs. And Two Chairs, what he said in the book was something that he learned from his mom. That he was saying one day when he was a teenager, he said, "Mom, I just want to find the way and the space to sit and talk with God and tell him about what happened and tell him about what I need and tell him about thank you for things like I want to be grateful." And then she told him that the best way to do it is to put two chairs in a place in your house. You can find a place. And then you go every single morning. First, you spend the first few minutes just being grateful, saying thanks for everything that happened with your family, everything that happened with your business, everything that happened with your community. And you try to remember how grateful you are, the place that we live, and the health that we have. And then you ask them for the people who is having a really rough time. Then I ask, especially during these days, I ask for the people who doesn't have a job, and that they having a rough time because it's not a job now. The unemployment is going down. Then what's gonna happen with them? A lot of people, especially I support tremendously the restaurants industry. Then I feel so bad for a lot of the employees and obviously the owners. And then after that, you ask for something. Then the great thing is that a lot of the time I don't have time and I don't have a lot of things to ask because my grateful time and my comments with him cover most of my time for praying in the morning. Then as soon as I finish this, my energy is full. I don't drink coffee. I'm the only Colombian who doesn't drink coffee. but as soon as I leave my office, as soon as I leave my house in the morning, my wife, she does research in UF, then work with cancer. She is going to the hospital. I'm going to my work, and I'm absolutely ready. First time in the morning, 8 o'clock, I have all the people from GTS and the Best Restoration sitting together, and we have a meeting for 30 minutes every single day. I want to know what happened, and I want to tell them happy birthday. I'm going to tell them about the good day that they have. I'm going to tell them I receive a customer call saying something that we have to improve, but only positive things. And then, believe me, 8:30, 8:45 that I say bye to everybody. By the way, I have a special hugs and kiss with one of the employees because he's my son. Then I'm sure that before he leaves and he take his truck, I give him a big hug and a kiss. And after that, 9 o'clock, sometimes I don't have too much to do because I have a nice team. Most of them, they know what to do. Then sometimes I get bored, but I find always something to do. That means that my mornings, you don't gonna see me. Even when my father passed, believe me, I took a day off because it was tough for me. But my father, he worked 35 years for Nestle, the same company. He went from the bottom to the top. And when this is what I learned from him. And I was praying and I was thinking that I'm sorry that this happened. And I'm hearing him saying, what are you doing here? You have to go to work. This is what I want you to do. The next day I was in the office and I was ready. And, I miss him a lot, but this is what gave me the energy to continue doing it,
Yeah. Dang.
I'm sorry, Mike.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's good. I love the stories. Now, so I kind of wanted to, if we're pausing for me to kind of chime in here now, I wanted to get into some of the, I like the stories. Like you talked about some of the natural disasters and stuff. I'm sure you do a lot. You mentioned Katrina, but like, what's like the most memorable man-made disaster you've seen? Like doing turns for college students and stuff. Like what have you like come on and seen that's just absolutely like horrific, memorable?
Well, I'm going to tell you one of the big disasters that for me was one of the hardest experience in life is when I drove inside of New Orleans in the area that was affected by the hurricane, the worst one. I called my wife. If you are a contractor, you can go inside. The rest of the entrances, everything is a military gate. You cannot go inside. But if you are a contractor, you can go inside. And we start to drive, and you don't see anybody. Look like a horrible movie. And not only this, is that we went in front of a police station, and I remember to see like a SUV and one of the regular cars, possible a Dodge Charger or whatever, upside down, full of holes created by gunshots. Then possible somebody went and shoot all the cars. But you see everything in black and white. No color at all. Because you don't see people. You don't see anybody. It's a street that you can drive for 3 minutes that you don't see anybody. That was terrible. I called my wife and I started to cry because I never expect that I'm going to see something like this. It was tremendous. But I tell you here because this is really funny. We were in a nice apartment complex, one of the, I'm going to say, the top ones in town. And these kids, they have a nice party in the second floor of this apartment complex. And the party was really good. But one of the guys who was in the party decided to take his girlfriend to the bathroom. And I think he tried to put his girlfriend over the sink. Then when he did this, a pipe burst and flooded the whole clubhouse. I tell you, the whole clubhouse. Then I was there. They called me like 45 minutes after that. When I show up, still you see water coming from the whole top. And that was horrible. Horrible. I never see too many water in an apartment complex. But at 6:30 in the morning, the police show up. And the police show up, and the police start to talk around the people who were there, maintenance people and managers. And he said, we have a video of who did this. Then 30 minutes after, you see this guy with this hangover show up and say, was me. And after he show up and after his dad signed a check for $27,000, then I think was the more expensive party for this human being guy.
Oh my.
Then I always gonna remember this because everything started in a really nice moment of truth, and at the end, I don't think that is a positive moment of truth when your dad has to put a check of $27,000. But this is my memories, and I can tell you I'm in the process to write a book. My wife wrote her book. I took my wife to a place that they gonna help me to write my book, but I did it with the purpose to her to write her book. And funny is that when we did the presentation, my wife Susie, she said, I just came with George because I think he want to write a book, but I came to the beach. When we left this place 2 days after, she signed it. 4 months after, she wrote her book about her journey for the breast cancer survivors. Then that she gave it for free to all the patients that has the same issue. And it's a nice, you have to see the introduction because I wrote it. It's the funniest thing in the world. But, this is how life it is. Then this is how everything works for us. Everything is fun and everything is positive. And I don't going to tell you that I don't have rough times. Of course that I have. But I try to hide them really good.
I want to ask you about boundaries a little bit, because I think in a 2020 world, this is a place where, I don't know, when you look back at business a long time ago, you didn't take your work home with you. Customers couldn't message you on your cell phones and, that kind of thing. It was like you had a work phone and they'd contact you during business hours and that kind of thing. And one of the things that really stood out to me about you, and I know this goes into those details, this goes into the root of, those people who you said, hey, hold on to my card, and when that person doesn't show up, call me, right? It goes all the way back to the beginning, right? And that was 2004. And so here we are, 2020, and I know that you're still a 24/7 kind of guy, right? Like, yes. If I call you in the middle of the night and I got an emergency, like you're gonna be there. Has that been difficult to maintain? Is it difficult to have some sort of personal life outside of work? Because I'm very much the same way. I mean, we had a upset customer messaging over the weekend via Facebook Messenger, and here I am, messaging back, and I was actually driving at the time, and then Mike takes over the conversation. Because he texted me about it, and he realized, because the do not disturb popped up, and so he realized that I was driving, and so he took care of the rest of it. And here we are between the two of us, answering this, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Yes. Like, I know it's the right thing to do, and I know, like, let me clarify. Like, I want to do that because I'm a customer service oriented business owner, right? And I want to take care of my customers. But the personal side of me, who is with my family, doing family things on a Sunday, doesn't want to do that. So where do you draw that line? Or is there a line?
It's a line when I go for vacation and I transfer my phone to my office every 3 or 4 times a year that I go for a week to some place, then I transfer my phone. Other than this, I don't. I'm going to tell you, my son start to be on call. He want to start to have this experience, and last Wednesday was his first day on call. And he did, with his friend, 7 water extractions between 6 o'clock and 11:30 at night. I answer every single call. I'm going to tell you what is important and why this is for me extremely important. Again, I'm sorry, but is that I have this contact with this service manager, these customers, when they are calling and they say, my house is flooded, I need your help. Can you send me somebody? I feel so good that I can be this person that I can call them. And I can start to explain that what is the process. And I can start to tell them what has to be done. And I can tell them how long gonna take before one of my techs is gonna be there. You know how many times I get work because the customers say, I called this company and they tell me that they only gonna come to my house if I give them a payment of $2,000 in a credit card. I don't do this. Let me send my technicians. They're gonna give you a price there, and if you agree, we do the job. If you don't, we're just gonna go home and we're gonna come back to sleep. Not a big deal. I never lose one of these jobs, never, when we have this communication. Now, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. I'm going to say what's hard before, when my kids, they were possible in your age kids, because it's a party and everybody's cutting the cake and my phone rings. Then your kids are like, Dad, but we are doing, give me 1 second. I have to get this call. Now, my son is 21. My daughter is 27. I just don't care at all. I just pick up the phone. I talk with everybody. They grew up with me knowing that the priority for me is this. This is the part of the service that I do. I don't do more, during the turn, I always promise. Every year I say, I don't going to clean carpet this year. Every year I say, I don't going to clean carpet this year. And, in the middle of the turn, I'm cleaning 8 hallways in the standard. Because I get the jobs that everybody hate because it's the hardest one. Then I come with Todd, Todd.
Yep.
I come with Todd. I'm 54. He's 52. The older ones, and we go to the standard and we clean all these hallways the whole day and everything. But you know what? Again, when I'm doing this, I realize that I want to be part of my company and I don't want to leave this part. And you can imagine when I'm working and the other guys come to help us and they see the boss in the middle of the craziness of turn doing the same than them is one of the more precious things because they give you the value of what is be engaged. And this is what I do. If today, by the way, one of my guys is really tired of being on call because he's doing on call for the last 5 years. And then what I offer him, hey, you know what? I'm going to start to get a couple days for you because you need a break. Today and tomorrow, I'm on call. And if somebody call at 1 a.m. in the morning, I have a truck in front of my house. I'm going to go to do the extractions. Then I leave other people rest because I sleep good and I have the chance to don't do it. Why not? And also I learn a lot because when I go outside, sometimes I hear from the maintenance people, oh, your guy the other tell me that it's going to take 30 minutes but took like an hour. Oh, the other day I called to the answering services and nobody answered. And if it's not because I called you directly, nobody going to know that we have this flood. Then I get a lot of feedback that for me has a lot of value. Then that's the reason that I do it. People enjoy when call me at whatever and I'm the one who answered the phone. Give us a lot of respect for our customer. And it's not a big sacrifice for me if I tell you. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I wake up and I say, oh, my God. It's hard sometimes when you wake up twice at night and you have to try to come back to sleep. Sometimes it's hard. But you know what? I'll do it. And possible I'm going to continue doing it until I retire. That is going to be at 82 or 85.
What do you do about the a-hole customers? Because so kind of going back to what I was saying, the customer I was talking about this weekend was a complete jerk. And I very much, like I said, I'm like, man, like people, it's almost like sometimes, and I don't know if it's a 2020 thing, but I don't think it is. I think it's just like it's just business. There's just people that are like that, right? They just assume the worst. They just come out the gate assuming the worst. Like, this company's not going to take care of this. They're not going to handle this like whatever. They always assume the worst. And maybe that's just the world that we've created because there's just so much mediocre at best customer service in the world, right?
Yep.
And so when you have a company who, lays down this importance, this what's the word I'm looking for? This priority of customer service, right? Like it's like, oh, wow. Like I totally wasn't expecting that answer. You know what I mean? So what do you do? I mean, because I'm just telling you right now, and maybe that's not the case with the people calling in the middle of the night, but if anybody called me in the middle of the night and they were a jerk customer, yes. Oh, dude. I really don't know what I would do. I would be biting my tongue hard. I mean, has that happened? And what do you do in those situations? This
happened regularly, but I tell you, I did something really good long time ago, and possible I invite you to this the last time. I get certified in personalities. I'm certified in DISC personalities. I know how to read people really well. By the way, I know exactly what my wife wants, what my wife doesn't want, what my kids want, what my wife does. I can tell my kids certain things that I want to tell them. I have to tell them in different ways to one and the other because I know how to read them really well. Then when I have a customer, if he has to start to scream and start to be desperate and I start to scream too, we don't going to go anywhere. And I let them to scream until he finished the thing, and then we can start to have a conversation. In your case, it's a little bit harder because I'm going to tell you, if you are arguing with a customer that bought something from you that is $3,000, and he's saying that whatever I bought is not what I expect, and I want my money back, and then you say, I'm sorry, I sold this to you, and you have to pay for that, and blah, 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 blah. I don't have this, because if I have a customer that paid $200 or $300, even $400, and he's complaining for a lot of things, I send somebody to fix the problem. If I cannot fix the problem, I give you 100% of your money back. Then when you pay somebody 100% of your money back, the complaint stops immediately. Because most of the time, you don't give them more tools to fight. Why are you going to argue? You know, you see it in the Gainesville word of mouth. Oh, look what these guys did and whatever, and this is what happened, and, you know, and at the end, when you mention, and I return 100% of the money to the customer, and I really feel sorry for the inconvenience, the conversation is over. Then, for me, it's easy. I understand you move in a different segment of customers. You are talking about 3,000 or 4,000, 5,000. It's really complicated to say to somebody, hey, you know what, they're going to give you $4,000 or $5,000 back. But for me, it's this. Another thing is that you know how to read, and if they start to talk too much and to, you know, you just let them talk. They don't, if you start to argue with them, it's going to be a fight. You know, I'm married with my wife 25 years ago. 26 years ago now. And it's funny because she used to have a really big character. She was, you know, she loved to argue. You know, she was really spoiled. And then we get married, and she started to, and I don't fight. Then I tell her one day, for a fight, you need two. You never see Muhammad Ali by himself hitting each other, you know. He needs somebody in front. I don't argue. Then don't fight with me because it's going to be a waste. Then what happened? Then you talk with the people. You just go to the place that you want to put it. And after that, you give them a good, I'm sorry, I recommend you to do something else, receive my money back, even if we do something that was expensive. And, you know, at the end, you know, I have people who go to my office to work that they work in different services companies, and they come to me and say, why the people don't call to complain? I used to talk in this company, and every day the owner was cursing and was screaming, why you did this and why you did that. And we don't have this. Thank God, you know, in our business, this doesn't happen. I don't curse. If I hear somebody saying bad words, immediately I take it out of my meetings, and they know that the next time I'm going to take it out of my business. I learned from the owner of Chick-fil-A right here in Gainesville. He said something so funny in a conference. Possible you were there. He said, I have the ability to convert my employee in customer in less than a minute. He just say, hey, you work for Chick-fil-A, now what you want? Some chicken nuggets? Because you don't work for me anymore. Beautiful. This is what I say to all the people that work for me. It's easier for me than just move this, because if you don't have these standards, you cannot be here. This is how I see it.
It's good.
So have you ever had to fire a customer? Like somebody that you're just like, hey, we're not a fit for, and I can't make this person happy, so like we're just not going to give you our service anymore?
Yes, but I fire her in a really good way. I tell you, because at the end of the year, one day, I say, what's going to happen the next year? I'm going to start the next year from zero, especially because sometimes my technicians don't tell me, but you feel it. We don't going to go there. The manager always is mean. They never have the keys ready. You go to see your books. They pay you every 6 months. Then, you know, I go there, very friendly. I don't bring you the box with a lot of cookies for you, but...
Thank you for that, by the way.
I go and I talk with them and I tell them, look, this relationship is not working really good. It's not good for me. It's not good for you. You're always upset because we don't do what you expect. Then I recommend you to call somebody. I don't have anybody to recommend because we are good. Then I don't know who I can recommend. I don't know. But this is the end of this. Yeah, but I still owe you money and whatever. Don't pay me. we're going to be okay, and you're going to be okay. This is the best way, and believe me, I see these people years later working for a different company, and they call me and they say, oh, the thing is that the owner was really mean, but I'm good. Then can you come to help me? You see, because, this city is so small. Then, people don't believe me this, but I'm going to tell you something. Especially the people who work in my industry that live out of town. I don't have one contract with anybody. My business with 100% of the apartment communities or the management companies or the realtors that give us work all the time is a shake hands. I haven't signed a contract with anybody. That means that I'm never going to say, hey, you sign a contract and you have to give me work. If you don't want to give me work because you don't feel that we are doing the right thing, don't give me work. I'm failing. I'm going to try to improve. But we don't do this. Even the bigger company in town, they make everybody sign a contract for turn. You know who doesn't sign this contract? This guy. I don't. I have special prices. I have special conditions. You want to work with us? That's great. But if you don't want to work with me and going to make me sign, I won't sign. I don't want to be part of this. And then they agree 100% all the time. They understand my reasons. I don't. And, it's risky. Possibly it's risky. But I love this risk. I love it.
Yeah. We got to wrap it up in a second. But before we do, you've been here as long as we have. I mean,
very similar trajectory.
Yeah. I mean, it started in 2004. So I love
2006. I started.
2006 is when you started. 2004.
I moved to 2004. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I started New Scooters for Less with a business partner in 2004. Mm-hmm. We split, and I started over in 2006. No. So very similar in terms of like how long I've been doing it. As a 100% business owner, I guess, if you will, mm-hmm. And then building a very amazing team around me in order to like accomplish the things that we've accomplished, right? But one of the things that I love to do on this show and just in general is like reflect on Gainesville and the changes since then. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's been like the biggest change that you can that has really impacted you since 2004? Or is there anything that stands out, or is there anything that you wish would still come about?
I'm going to say something that some people don't going to like. But one of the things that impact me a lot is the difference between the people who has and the people who doesn't have. I just start to be part in a lot of non-profit organizations. And I start to realize that sometimes you see a lot of money in different places, in different companies, in different sectors and industries, but we have a lot of people in this town that they don't have nothing. Then I used to work. I really believe I learned this from Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar used to say that you have to be first, then you have to do second, then you're going to have third, and then you go to the fourth process, that is when I feel that I am, is the significance. And then you go to the fifth process, that is the last one, that is like my father, legacy. Then when you are in the fourth one, that you're not thinking about, I want to have more because you're not interested. I personally, if you know me really well and my employees know me really well, the money is not what lead me. I don't. I want to have a nice life. I want to have the money to pay for my expenses and take care of my family and take care of my family here, take care of my family in Colombia. This is what I do. But at the end, I want to be sure that I can help others, and then I can just be part of other people and other groups. Then I'm happy that I bring my guys for a lot of time just to share this, because they didn't have it either. You have time to give you an example?
Yeah.
I have a guy that 5 years ago, I talk about this. I talk about gratitude all the time. I talk about, come on and we help others. I talk about, and this is not, I want to say that I don't want to look like, oh, this guy is so friendly. And no. It's the idea that If we have the chance to do it for others, why we don't? Then I talk about this, and I hear from him 4 years ago, he told me, I don't do these kind of donations and I don't help because I pay taxes and this is enough. Then with my taxes, there's people supposed to get help. But this is enough. I say, okay, that's great. Then I have a really good friend, I cannot name it, but he lead a very nice place. The name is Grace Marketplace, that I love it. I'm really involved with them. Then one day we have to go to do breakfast. And I say, who is volunteer to go to do breakfast with me? We're going to go to do breakfast for the people, the homeless in Grace Place. And he say, I can go? And I was like, your taxes, remember your taxes. He say, I want to go and I want to take my wife with me. And I say, that's great. We'll see them there, 7:30. He didn't know what to do. I tell him, we're going to cook the breakfast here. We went to the kitchen. I saw him, he started to do some cookies, and no better than the cookies that I received today.
Thanks, Sarah.
But he started to cook, and then he went to a big thing, and he started to cook eggs, and I see him in his eyes like, oh my God, this is cool. Then the moment of truth came when they opened the cafeteria, that is Café 133. And they opened the cafeteria, and we are here waiting for everybody to come to get the food. I was behind because I want to see everything. And then he started to bring the food, and I see in his eyes that he realized what is the feeling of gift. Then a kid show up with his parents, possible like 5 years old kid, and he has 2. And he saw the kid like, no toys, no nothing. And he told me, George, can you take care of my place because I have to go to my car? And he went to his car and he bring a couple of toys and he bring it to the kids. And you know what this guy did when we left? He stayed cleaning the whole place. Then if I can impact one person to tell them how grateful you have to be and how nice is the feeling to help, for me, is enough. But you know what? I didn't do it with one. I did it with all my group. Then we go to San Francisco and we bring food. And we go to, Grace Place. We get good. My wife used to cook in the chef thing for family, for Peaceful Pots. By the way, my wife is sitting in the board of Peaceful Pots. In Peaceful Pot. I'm in the group of Family Promise. I'm in the board of them. They invite me. I'm so excited about it. And every time that you are part of something, then you feel it, man. And I tell to the people, you don't feel it? Oh, no, I don't feel it. I don't want to give money. They have a lot of money. Man, the day that you start to give, then the process of the significance has a lot of value. And when you feel it, it's so good. I feel it every day. Yeah. And that's the reason. This is my energy, man.
Yeah, we've done a lot of that stuff with our team, too, going in and serving. And St. Francis House is one that I remember specifically.
Grace, too.
Yep. Yeah. But, it's definitely very impactful, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, it should be one of the leading reasons why we're even in business, right? Yes. It's giving, so... Jorge, man, this has been awesome. I'm going to ask Mike if he has any last questions before we wrap it up.
I'll ask you one. What would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
Oh, that's a great question.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I love the banking because I worked for 9 years there. I love to be part of the big group. I love to be surrounded by smart people. We used to have, Collin was kind of the leader of the event. I didn't know.
I thought you said you like to be around smart people.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you this, that be surrounded by smart people with a lot of good energy. And I used to have this. I used to be in big tables with a lot of people that they were working for years. By the way, our president right now, his dad was in the board that I used to be. when I work in the bank. Then this is what the relationship that I have. And then I miss this part. I miss to have, remember in our meetings how many times we talk about it, that when you work for somebody, you always have somebody over you that if you get like, I don't know what to do, you go there. When you are a business owner, you go to the bathroom and you cry like this guy.
Thanks for reminding me.
I see
like this guy.
I went
this
to
one right here.
I went to your bathroom and I see, what is the place that Collin cried? I want to be sure that, I want to see if I put like a pillow or something.
I'm pretty sure I've been in every corner, yeah.
But we talk about the idea to be part of something like this when a lot of people decide about, important things. This is what I just dream with. Now, when we have our groups, let me tell you, and I don't want to name people, but we have people in our group that they were ready to finish their partnership with others because they say, I cannot work with this person anymore. I cannot. And we were working with them, telling them, yes, you can do it. This is going to be incredible. You have to be patient. You have to be smart. You have to find a way. This is your perfect complement. We talk a lot of things. Today, you see these companies being one of the more successful companies in town. And these people are like this. Then I love this. I remember to be, and I don't gonna say a mentor, but our experience and all the years that we have working, for me also to work in a different country that is completely different, give us the background and all the knowledge to help other people. Because we went to the whole process, when I teach somebody to clean carpets, it's not because I see it in YouTube. It's because I cleaned more than 50,000 bedrooms in Gainesville in the last, 15 years. Then I know how to do it. How many floods I did? Thousands. Then I can teach people. It's not that I bought a company and now, I have a water damage. Good luck. I have this. Good luck. No. Then we went to the whole process. Then it's easier for you, like, has this time to spread yourself and do other things because you have a really well group trained outside of this room. I remember how happy you went when you hire an assistant. I still remember. You think I have good memory. He was like, man, you told me about it and this is so cool. I say, it is cool. It is cool because you have too many things. You get to the point that you cannot handle everything.
Yep.
And then things that you forget cost you money and create problems. Then somebody who can tell you, hey, don't forget to do this, you are like, so, thanks. That's great. This is how I see it,
And I think that really lays the importance of those mastermind groups.
Yes.
Right? I constantly encourage people to surround themselves with other business owners and talk about the troubles in business and what we're going through. I mean, we need it more than ever right now. I mean, this has been a hard year for everybody, right? So it's a great thing. Definitely get into a mastermind group if you're not. Just hit up 5-6 of your business owner friends and say, hey, can we meet once a month?
Yes.
And just talk. I mean, it really, really, really helps. So I'm gonna leave off on that, man. Why don't you tell our audience where they can connect with you, where they can call you guys for help and website, all that good stuff.
Well, we are located exactly behind Home Depot. We do a lot of advertising for Home Depot because it's really close to our office. Right there in Tower Road, we have all the businesses together. We are doing really good with the area rock masters. Then people, when you need or you have expensive area rocks and you don't have a good place that they're gonna do a really good cleaning and a really nice process, we invite our customers to go inside of our plant just to see all the technology that we have there, and we call them the spa for the rocks. Then I tell them, if you went to the spa, to the club, or to the resort, I want to show you where your carpet is going to be for the next 2 weeks. And it's wonderful. Also, the turnover company, I never expect that I'm going to do cleaning and painting and maintenance. I never think about it. I refuse to put a broom or a vacuum close to my dehumidifiers. I say, no, I'm a professional dryer guy, and I went to all the classes in the industry to be really good. But One day somebody told me it's a great opportunity right now. This company has like 25 employees, and we did really good. We went to the Standard. You see the Standard right here. We visited the Standard when they were ready to open, and I was walking with I'm in the board of the North Central Florida Apartment Association. We were walking inside, and I was like, who gonna be the crazy guy who gonna work here? Everybody was laughing. We are doing the turn in the Standard. Then kind of crazy, then every place that I see the challenge, and I love daily challenge. I love the people say, I don't think that you can do it. Oh my God.
That fuels you, huh?
Don't ask for my Colombian passion, because I'm gonna put it there immediately. Believe me, it's gonna work
I
really
dare
good.
you to tell me I can't do something.
Oh
right?
yes, it is hard. But then our website is thebestrestoration.com, and also we have one for GTS, that is Gainesville Turnover Specialist, and whatever we can help you. And also I try to help people that, especially young people, that they don't have any clear idea of what they do when they want to start a business. I go to the university, to the entrepreneurs program, to teach them and to talk with them. And most of the time I tell them, please don't tell this to your teacher, but I never, in my 15 years of business, I did a business plan. I told them, never. I did a business plan. I'm planning to do it, but I never. Every time that I need money, I went to the customers, and I went to the bank, and I tell them, this is what it is. This is my project. You can help me? No. You cannot help me? No. Until I knock the door of somebody who said yes. Boom, everything changed.
Your business plan was persistency and consistency.
You're absolutely right.
Just keep going, right?
Keep going.
That's awesome, man. Well, and also, like, on that note, I mean, you're saying these things, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Gainesville turnover specialist. This is the one-man shop. You don't have to call the wall repair guy, because I've said that spot several times. So thank you for being one of our sponsors too during our coronavirus sessions. Really appreciate that, man.
You're welcome.
Sponsors like Jorge absolutely make the show happen. So we really, really appreciate that. And if you want to connect with our sponsors, please go to our website. If you just go to WHOAGNV.com/sponsors, we have all of the sponsors there, links to their website, so that way you can connect with the people that support our show. And we really want to make sure that you do that. And that's it, guys.
That's great. Thank you again for the invitation. I'm sorry that the energy was directly
good,
to
man. It's
things
good.
more deeper.
Deep is good sometimes.
Deeper.
Deep is good. It's okay.
That's good.
This is the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, wow. We will see you later. Bye.